What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Optimus Fantasy Football Podcast. It is September 5th, 2024. Casey, we're heading to week 1. We're this close to football.
So
close.
Thank you for telling me what day it is, too, because I have no clue. So thank you. Football? Okay, good. We're good.
Yes, we've got a game in just a little under 3 hours. We've got Kansas City and Baltimore kicking off in Kansas City. I'm excited. It's been, we haven't had football since February. I'm bad at that kind of math. It's been a number of months. About 7 months since we had football. I don't know about you. It's really sucked.
It really has sucked. It sucks so bad. I mean, we cancel our YouTube TV during the off season, so it's been good for that. But I definitely need to get that back, considering that there's a game.
Oh man,
games are coming on.
We were for a few years. What we did was we bought the NFL Game Pass International through a VPN. We ran it through Brazil, so it was $100 for the year for basically international Sunday ticket. But this year we're going to do NFL Plus Premium. It's $14.99. You get Red Zone. It's good enough. You get the all 22 films. YouTube TV is expensive.
It is. We binge watch a bunch of stuff when we are in season. So then, when we get rid of it, we're like, okay, well, we'll have more stuff to watch next year.
See, that's a smart way to do it. We don't do any live TV, but it's so I don't watch the news.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. No, I want sports, and I've got ESPN for that, which DirecTV needs to get their S together and get ESPN back for all those people. Now, Casey, I want to first of all say thank you for coming on with me. I'm really excited to get this show kicked off for the season. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff. We're going to have a lot of cool people coming through here, hoping to get some of our bigger name friends on here like Pat Fitzmaurice, Bob Harris. We got one of them here with Casey, so I'm pretty stoked. You have an article coming out tomorrow, guys. Please check out the website. Kevin Tompkins had an article drop today that is awesome. It is some post-waiver wire targets. Who dropped an article yesterday that is betting for 10 of the 13, 14, 15, whatever games we've got going this weekend. So, guys, check that out on optimus.com. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. The more people we get here, the easier it is for us to continue to bring you content. We do have an NFL betting video that will be coming out tomorrow as well. That from our man down under, Brad Bolt. Please make sure you check that out here. Easiest way to find us is to make sure you are subscribed and following us on The Bird. Now, without further ado, I am so excited to actually talk about real football. We're not prognosticating. We're not guessing. No conjecture here. We have Thursday night football. We've got Baltimore at Kansas City. Casey, the over-under on this game is 46.5. That's on ESPN bets. On DraftKings, like I was saying before the show, it's at an even 47. Kansas City is favored to win by 3 points. If you know anything about how odds work, and then maybe this is a wives' tale, I don't know, somebody can tell me, 3 points are always given to the home team. So this is really just kind of a draw. This one's up in the air. I think the league believes Baltimore has a chance to go somewhere if they're putting them out here on Thursday night, Casey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm very excited for this game. I think it's going to be one of those games that we talk about for a while. Yeah. I mean, not just because it's the first game of the season, but because these two teams that are going against each other, it's going to be a nice one.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game. Now, for the most part, Casey, we know we're starting Lamar Jackson, we're starting King Henry, we're starting Mark Andrews, we're probably starting Zay Flowers, we're starting Mahomes, we're starting Kelsey, but there's some of the other guys in this game I'm on the fence about. One of them being Rashee Rice. And you had all the offseason stuff. I don't know if I'm as concerned about that. I just wonder how much of this offense is actually going to go through the receiving core. What are you doing with Rashee Rice tonight, Casey?
With Rashee Rice tonight, I am not like you. I think I sat there for a while going back and forth because honestly, I don't have any of him on any of my rosters. So it's harder for me to think about, okay, would I start him or would I sit him? I would start him in a flex position if I needed to. I'm not sure that this is the week that I'd go in on starting him though.
So then is it safe to assume you're probably off Xavier Worthy this week as well?
I am. I know people are on him right now, with Brown out and everything, but I just can't. I just can't do it. In the future, I think he's going to be worthy of a flex play.
Sure,
for sure, but not for this game now.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Looking at my lineups this week, I'm staying away from a lot of these rookies. Season long, I love them, but this is their first experience in the NFL. And Herms and I talked about this a little bit last night on the show too. Like, I have no doubt that Caleb Williams is going to be great. He's probably going to be a QB1 overall this season. That said, I don't think he's a QB1 this week. It's his first start. It's rough for these guys. So, yeah, I'm off of Worthy as well. Later down the line this season, I think he's going to be a solid flex play. Maybe he'll turn into a little bit more. Now, Samaj P. Ryan just signed with Kansas City after being cut by the Broncos. CEH just went on IR, so we know he's out for the first 4 games. A lot of hype behind P. Ryan. Is that affecting how you're approaching Isaiah Pacheco tonight?
It's not. Just because, P. Ryan's been around for a while, and I get that. But, I mean, with Denver last year, he still got plenty of work. But, I mean, Denver hyper-targeted their running backs last year. But I can see him eating into some of the workload, but it doesn't change my strategy on playing Pacheco. I'm still going to put him in my lineup, and I'm not going to really worry about having P. Ryan there.
Now, are you going to start P. Ryan?
No, I don't think I am.
See, I know he's going to be involved in this offense at some point, but he's only been at the team like a week.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's still a lot to learn about offenses.
The first game.
It's the first game, and, like you were saying, he's a veteran, but every team's different. Every scheme's different. So I wouldn't be starting him tonight. I am starting Isaiah Pacheco, and I will continue to start Pacheco all season long. Pacheco's not a pass catching back. That's what Samaj P. Ryan does best.
Right.
He catches the ball. That's where he got most of his usage in Cincinnati. That's where he got the bulk of his usage in Denver. He had 50 targets last season. That's where we're going to see him in this offense, but it's going to be week 3, week 4, I think week 5 before he's really startable. Now let's move to the other side of this here. Rashad Bateman. Is he startable this week? Is he going to be startable any week?
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so, which sucks for people who drafted. Hopefully you didn't draft him as your wide receiver 1, but no, I don't think so.
Well, he's not even. Is he even the wide receiver?
No,
he's not the third receiving option on this team.
If you like
Andrews,
waited
Flowers,
and got in some tricky situation, and you were like, "Hey, I recognize that name," because I have people who do that, and it's not one of those. I don't know. It's hard for me to want to start a wide receiver there anyway. So,
yeah, I'm with you. Flowers is even tough for me to start right now.
Yeah,
I know for me at least, I got this idea in my head last season, like, hey, Greg Roman's gone. Todd Monken's here. Look what he did at Georgia. He was the offensive coordinator for Jameis Winston's 5,030-30 season. This offense is going to go nuts. But also what I didn't account for is that he's smart, and he looked at what this team had and what they are and what their identity is, and he's adapting to that. Maybe he sees that Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball as much as Jameis Winston can. Just the way it is, right? So this offense is going to continue to be run heavy. I don't think it can support more than one receiver for fantasy, to be honest. I mean, you've got obviously Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. Past that, Bateman for me almost feels like if you drafted him, drop him for one of these other guys we're going to talk about a little bit later. So I just don't know that there's any value there.
I don't think there is.
All right, Casey, who's going to be the top fantasy scorer in the game tonight?
This is very challenging. But first I was going to go with Travis Kelce because I heard some contract came out about his relationship, and that's probably in there that he gets the first touchdown of the game or something. I don't know, but no, it's not going to be Travis Kelce. I don't. The tight ends. No, I don't think he's got it first. But I think that the fantasy scorer highest would be. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson tonight. I know.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Lamar.
Okay. I was, going between Lamar and Patrick Mahomes, obviously, those, duh.
Right.
But I mean, Lamar.
I think Lamar gets more done with his legs than old Patty Mahomes does. Now, first touchdown.
Again, he's going to get the first. Not only is Travis Kelce going to be the highest scorer, he's also getting the first touchdown. No, I think no. Lord, who's going to get the first touchdown? I'm going to say Lamar Jackson takes it in. Okay. I know. I'm just going to go with that. It's a gut feel. There we go.
I'm going. I think it's going to be King Henry.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So now the last thing I want to touch on here, the over under. We're going to go with the ESPN bet set at 46.5. Are you taking the over? Are you taking the under in this game?
God, I'm so bad at betting. I'm so bad at it. I'm going to take the, I don't know. You guys can make fun of me. I'm going to take the, I don't know, the over.
I'm taking the over.
Okay.
I'm taking the over as well.
I'm so bad at betting, though, so maybe don't listen to me.
I feel like this is going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be like one of those like 35-31, 42-38, something around there. Now, who wins?
Ooh, who wins? I'm going to go with Baltimore on this one. I like Henry being there. I like that rushing attack, and I like the legs of one Lamar Jackson. Legs.
I'm the same. Yeah, okay. I've got Baltimore winning this one. I want to hop in the chat here real quick. We have got Albert Merriquin saying hello, everyone. Albert, thank you for always tuning in. One Dave from Toronto. What is up, buddy? We always appreciate you being here. Dilly indeed. Robbie from Rumboys there in the chat. We've got Ronnie Evans tuning in. What is up, buddy? It's good to see you. And it's Casey, it's really good to see Twitter comments back here on the old StreamYard. So all you Twitter users can interact with us.
I didn't know that was a thing that went away.
It did. Yeah, it went away for about 3 years. So
See,
it just came back.
If you guys didn't know, I don't do the visual stuff.
Yeah, this is my life. Then we've got Chris Robin tuning in from Facebook. Guys, always live, and I'm always watching Chris. Speaking of good bettors, follow Chris Robin. Check him out on Facebook. Check him out on Twitter, Detroit Beastie. And he agrees with me. King Henry for the first touchdown, as does Dynasty Coach A. Guys, thanks for making me feel good. I really like that. We're all going to be wrong on all of these, but hey, at least we're in it together, right? It's the important part.
All that matters, yes.
All right, next up, I want to go through some players, some post-waiver wire values out there that you can get right now for free, more than likely, depending on how your league is structured. A lot of leagues, there's no wire priority right now. You're just picking people up as free agents, especially if you're on a platform like ESPN. We've got some players we like. The first one I want to talk about here, I'm going to talk about a guy I brought to the table, D'Onta Foreman. He is in Cleveland. He is currently 3.3% rostered on ESPN. Casey, I know it's going to be Jerome Ford as the RB1, but this feels like a D'Onta Foreman 1A situation. And given how I feel about the quarterback situation, I think this team's going to run the ball just a little bit.
Yeah,
They're
right.
going to have no choice.
I agree on that. Yep, 100%. And Foreman, he's a veteran. I'm about that life, and he's done it before.
Right.
We say that a lot, but
yep.
if he hadn't done it before, I'd be like, okay, it's just a dude.
Right. Well, we said, because we saw him have that stellar second half of the season in Carolina. And that was a year and a half removed from an Achilles tear. So the farther away players get from that injury, the more effective they tend to be. I think Foreman's kind of in that category now where it really shouldn't be affecting him. There's a ceiling on his production. I don't think he goes higher than a high-end RB3, but that's a nice flex play. And there'll be weeks he'll pop, and you'll know when they're running the ball more. And I mean, really, honestly, if Deshaun Watson is wildly ineffective but stays in, he could be in for 20 carries a game, and just on volume alone might sneak into that RB2 territory. Another running back that we are targeting this week, and I love this one, Casey. I'm going to let you introduce and talk about this one first here.
Audric Estime is the dude that I am going with here. He's only rostered in 1.8% of ESPN leagues, and like you were bringing up P. Ryan earlier, outright. Okay, cool. Look who we have now, and honestly, 1.8% rostered, like, why not take a shot on him at the bottom of your bench, drop somebody that isn't going to put up anything anyway, right? You just go on, refresh your roster a little bit, grab you a little bit of Audric. And like I said, at least last year, they hyper targeted their I mean, I get this quarterback situation's different and a lot of other things are different, but at the end of the day, like those running backs, they were targeted a lot. Number one. So let's think about that.
Well, and right now on the depth chart, it's Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Audric Estime. We saw them use 3 backs consistently last season. And like you said, quarterback situations changed, but I think what has changed is it's going to lean more in favor of more running back usage, because now you've got rookie Bo Nix, who, he got voted captain. The team loves him. That's great. And as a Broncos fan living in Denver, I love to hear that about this player and this team. But that said, being realistic and knowing who Bo Nix is as a player coming out of Oregon and Auburn, they're going to be running the ball a lot in Denver. It's just the way it's going to be. And Javonte Williams is a decent pass catching back, but McLaughlin and Estime are just flat out better at it. Plus, Estime is kind of a brute, so he might get some of that goal line work to make sure that Williams isn't getting hurt. I really like this call. And I think down the road, when we start to get into like week 10, 11, 12, 13, he could see some significant volume, and especially if one of these guys ahead of him gets hurt, Casey, forget about it.
Oh, man.
No.
Never wish injuries on people. First of all, never wish injuries on people. But that has saved my butt a lot in fantasy football, being able to pick up guys and start them right away.
All right. Now I'm really excited about this one. I don't know why I'm so excited about this guy, but guys, I love Luke McCaffrey. I love him. And it's not because of his brother. It's not because he's born and raised in Denver, Colorado. It's because I like him as a player. Seeing him in Mobile, he's quick, he's agile, he's intelligent. Those are 3 things to me that if you're going to be a late round wide receiver that a team takes a flyer on and you're going to succeed, that's what you've got to be. He has all those attributes. Plus, he plays the slot. And I don't know if y'all saw, but they just shipped Jahan Dotson off to Philly. I think McCaffrey fits into the slot. And if he plays well these first couple of weeks, this is a guy who could have 100 targets this season in Washington, Casey.
Didn't you forget Jamison Crowder's back?
I
love him though. Anyway, but yes, Luke McCaffrey, I honestly, I was looking at him a little bit as well. Washington, I mean, yes, Terry McLaurin's there, but you need somebody else besides him to have a viable offense. And you need to have that second guy that can catch the passes. And there you go. Like, I think he's going to progress as the year goes. So maybe not right off the bat, but I think he's going to be somebody to hold on to and just monitor how he progresses through the season.
Yeah. Another player on this team, just throwing it out there, that isn't rostered very heavily, Zach Ertz. Could be sneaky early in the season. I don't think he's
early in the season.
By week 10, 11, 12, again, I don't think he's somebody who's relevant. I think Ben Sinnott kind of starts to sneak into that role. But early season, I think it's going to be Ertz. Now, I love this one, Casey.
Me too. I love him. Wow. But I also love this pick. Now, Noah Brown is who I chose here for my second. He's rostered in 0.4% of ESPN leagues, like just the tiniest baby amount, guys. Think about this. Last year, he was playing in Houston. Lots of wide receivers there, right? We already know that. He's not there anymore. It was crowded. Of course, he's not there anymore. Like, if he wasn't going to be fantasy relevant, really. But last year, he steps in for injuries and puts up like, 3 or 4 top 12 games at the position last year. So, like, he's been known to get it done. And I think that he's a sneaky guy for just a little bit. Just you got to wait on him, maybe just a hair. But I think he's gonna. Maybe you don't even have to wait on him just a hair. He's one of those guys that I think should have been a better wide receiver in the NFL in his career. He's just been handed some rough goes. Yep.
Well, and look, when teams have needed him in the past, he shows up, right? He's a guy, I like this call. He's going to be free. I mean, even if you don't get him right now, if you wait until week 2 and you're like, well, let's see if somebody else gets him, maybe nobody will pick him up. We'll see. I'm going to wait and see. You can probably still get him for free next week.
Yeah, Probably.
honestly.
Unless he scores a touchdown or something crazy this
Right?
week.
What, he goes out and has 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, well, forget about that. We're all talking about Noah Brown next week. So
Yep.
I like this call. And we've all just drafted. We're all very in love with our teams right now, right? So maybe you're not super excited about going out on waivers, but let me tell you something. Just do it. These players on the back end of your bench, if they pop, they could change your fortunes. And they're not going to produce league-winning points, but that 5-point difference between the guy you were going to start and him could be the difference in a number of matchups. It could be the difference between your playoff seeding, being a first or second seed. So these little things are what help you win. These little things. Now that we're done with waivers, I would like to talk about some start sits. I'm going to run through some players here, Casey, and we're going to talk about whether we want to start them or we want to sit them. First, we're going to run through some quarterbacks. My least favorite position to do this for because it drives me insane. But we're going to start with Daniel Jones is up against the Minnesota Vikings in New York. Are you starting Daniel Jones?
Negative. I'm not starting Daniel Jones. Now, I do like Malik Neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. But if I have a better option, I'm not starting Daniel Jones. He was so inconsistent last year when he was healthy. It's hard for me to trust them right now.
It's going to be hard for me to trust this Giants team most of the season. Outside of really Malik Neighbors, there isn't anything to be terribly excited about. And I'm going to have a hard time the first couple of weeks starting Malik Neighbors. He probably is on my bench this week, honestly, just because I fear that he's not going to get the looks week 1.
Yeah.
Now, what about Russell Wilson? His debut in Pittsburgh against the Atlanta Falcons. No?
I'm not touching that either. I'm not seeing that as a viable thing this week now.
No, I don't like it either. Now, what about Bo Nix against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle?
Not for this first week. Not saying that I don't have faith in him in the future, but you had already alluded to the fact that he's a rookie. And then on top of that, it's just, I'm not feeling that. And the pass catcher's there too. I'm just not, I'm not about that life.
What do you mean?
Cortland Sutton's my favorite.
He's everybody's favorite.
I know. He's such a nice guy.
Wide receiver 43, 44. Now, this one makes me want to puke a little bit, but you have to talk about this because most of us play in Superflex and 2 QB leagues.
Yes, you do.
Derek Carr against the Carolina Panthers. They're at home in New Orleans.
I know. They are at home in New Orleans.
Taysom Hill is officially a tight end, Casey.
I know. It's Taysom Hill season. Everybody's on that Taysom Hill train right now. At 2 quarterback, I probably would. I wouldn't feel happy about it. But Derek Carr has done enough in the past for me or for all of us, where he's had some of those games where, you're like, okay, Derek Carr, he's very fool's goldy in that you're like, okay, Derek Carr, I see you. And then, but yeah, let's throw him in, not as our first quarterback, obviously, but if we're going to put him in as our second dude.
Yeah, I like to call Derek Carr, he's a poor man's Kirk Cousins because he's nothing if not consistent, right? Kirk Cousins is always in the top 10, always finishes in the top 10. Derek Carr pretty much consistently finishes as a QB2, somewhere in there. So he's a guy I'm okay starting as much as I don't love him, and I don't love that situation there. Let's get into the running backs here. The first one I'm going to ask you about, it's a rookie coming out of the gate hot, Ray Davis of the Buffalo Bills up against the Arizona Cardinals at home. Are you starting Ray Davis?
I'm not starting Ray Davis this week. I can't do it. I don't think I can. I know the hype right now is real, but I don't know if I can do that.
Well, I'm a part of that hype train. I'm starting him this week just because the chance that he snipes 1 or 2 goal line touchdowns, I'll take that chance on a guy. Start him as a flex. I'm not starting him as an RB1, RB2, but you know what you're going to get with a guy like that. You're either going to get 5 points, or you're going to get 25 points. So I'm banking on booms with him all season. Now, this one, again, this is kind of like Derek Carr. We just want to throw up a little bit, but we got to talk about it. Gus Edwards of the Los Angeles Chargers against the Las Vegas Raiders. They are in Los Angeles for this one. Casey, are you starting Gus Edwards this week?
I think I might flex Gus Edwards this week. Yeah. So I guess, yes, I am starting him this week.
Okay, I'll allow it. I think out of him and Dobbins, he sees the most work.
Yeah.
I don't trust Dobbins' knees.
No, I get you on that. Yeah.
Tyler Allgeier up against Pittsburgh. You starting him?
Yeah, I'll flex him. I mean, look what he did last year. He's sneaky too.
Well, and all of us fantasy managers who hate Arthur Smith, and rightfully so, for what he did to that Atlanta offense, we were so mad at him for having that split in that backfield. And then Zach Robinson, the new offensive coordinator, is like, yeah, it's going to be a split again. Well, okay. Then at least we know now.
Yep.
You can buy into Tyler Allgeier, which I am. I'm starting him this week. I'm flexing him.
Yep.
Now, Blake Corum of the Los Angeles Rams, formerly of the University of Michigan. Normally, I wouldn't be asking if a rookie running back who is the clear RB2 in an offense would be someone you would start, but Kyren Williams is returning kicks.
I didn't hear that. This is the first time I'm hearing that.
It's terrifying, and they are in Detroit. Are you starting Blake Corum, Casey?
You know, I think I would say yes here, but I think that me personally, I don't think I would be able to actually press submit because of the rookiness of it, which sucks. I hate that. I don't know why I can't just get that out of my head. Maybe you put that in my head about rookies earlier. I don't know. But no, I'm just kidding.
Might have.
But no, I think I'd flex him. But I'm
okay with flexing him. But regardless of whether or not Kyren was going to be the kick returner, I would feel the same way.
Yes,
about him.
Exactly. 100%.
I think that's just it's being overblown, right?
It is. Yeah, I think a lot of those situations get overblown.
I'm glad I'm not alone. Yeah. I want to pop into the chat here before we move on to wide receivers. We have got Herms, my buddy, jumped in the chat here, says, let's go. Shout out Optimus. Dynasty Coach A, he loves the estime call. It's a good call. And Herm says, not to diminish how much fun it was to pod with Nate last night. This might be an even finer duo. Herms, you are too kind. He also says, whispers talk about Greg Dortch. Don't worry, dude. We haven't gotten to wide receivers yet. Toronto Dave says Bills Mafia. He also is on the Gus bus. I mean, he's the running back outside of Kamani Vidal that makes the most sense to be impactful for fantasy in an offense that's going to run the ball a ton. And then now we've got Herms also saying, i.e. Arthur Smith. Smith isn't a bad coordinator. We just hate how he does things. As a Steelers fan trying to sell himself on the concept, Herms, as we have talked about, I am also trying to sell myself on that concept. It's not going great, but we'll see. The season's about to start. I will have a little bit more clarity on a lot of this. Oh boy, I did not. We're going to get into wide receivers here. I don't have my wide receivers graphic. That's great. Thought I downloaded it, but hey, live something, live shows, live podcasting. So wide receivers start sit this week. Rashid Shaheed of the New Orleans Saints up against the Carolina Panthers. Are you starting Mr. Shaheed?
Yeah, so I've been doing wide receiver 2 thing with Optimus Fantasy here. So I do a lot of looking at these guys that are not top dogs on their depth charts. And I mean, Rashid Shaheed is one of those guys that is constantly on my radar. I don't see this week being any different. I would feel pretty confident starting him actually this week. I think it's going to be one of those Shaheed weeks where you get a little more out of him than you usually do.
It makes sense to me that he's going to be more than he was last season this season.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think we're going to see more of those boom games from him. I think we get a couple more touchdowns. He's going into his 3rd season. So, I am probably starting Rashid Shaheed. Jaden Reed up against Philadelphia. They've got Philly at home. Philly's got that phenomenal secondary-ish. Are you starting Jaden Reed this week?
I am. I'm starting Jaden Reed. I think all those I know that wide receiver core over there is like so many mouths to feed and so many young talented dudes. But I think Jaden Reed's gonna eat in this game. I think he's gonna have a nice game.
Yep. Of that wide receiver core, Jaden Reed's my favorite. Christian Watson, I heard a rumor he doesn't have hamstrings. So, and then I don't know about Romeo Doubs. I think Romeo Doubs is good. Jaden Reed seems to be kind of the red zone guy, and he gets the targets in the red zone. So that's the guy I want to roll with. Now, are you rolling with Greg the Torch Dortch on a porch with Arizona up against Buffalo in Buffalo?
For sure. Sure. I tried to make it work, but it didn't. Yes, for sure. No. Yeah, I think I am with Greg Dortch as well. Greg Dortch has been solid, and again, he's another one of those guys that you look at and you're like, oh, okay, he's a boomer bust kind of guy as well.
Yeah.
But
I think he might be a little bit more consistent this season. I'm starting him this week. The reason I think he's going to be more consistent is it sounds like they're going to move him back into the slot.
Which is
in 2022, that's where he got most of his snaps. He was effective in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be really good. And defenses can't really focus a lot of energy on him with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. They've got to worry about those two.
Those guys.
Dortch becomes that guy who almost kind of slips through the cracks, and all of a sudden he's putting up volume for you. Now this last one, again, there's one of these at every position. Jerry Jeudy. Now with the Cleveland Browns, they are in Dallas this Sunday. Are you starting Jerry Jeudy?
No, I'm not starting Jerry Jeudy, which is, you know what? Good for Jerry Jeudy getting out of Denver. No offense, but good for him.
No, but good for him.
Because I think he's going to have more of an opportunity, obviously. I mean, he's going to have more of an opportunity. I can say he will. And, not during this game, though. I don't think he's going to see the opportunity. Not at all. It's hard on both sides of the ball on both teams that are playing. So I've seen so many sit backs this week and and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. I'm going to be more in on Jerry Jeudy when Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback.
That'll happen.
Week 3 to week 4 range, somewhere around there. I'd want to pop into the chat here real quick before we get to tight ends. We've got a couple of questions. Jeff Rogers wants to know, Casey, he needs to flex one Zamir White, Christian Kirk, or Raheem Mostert.
Jeez Louise. Who am I flexing here?
Got the Raiders against the Chargers. Jacksonville, I don't remember the matchup exactly. And then we've got Miami is up against – I don't have that matchup up here either.
Oh, man, I had all those matchups in my head earlier, and now they're all magically gone. It's what happened.
Well, I started looking at betting odds, and that just kind of screwed me up.
Who do I want to go here? I keep telling everybody not.
So it's Miami and Jacksonville are playing each other.
Mm-hmm. Let's go. I'm going to go White.
All right. I would go Raheem Mostert.
Mostert was debating between us.
I know he's going to have some boom weeks, I think, early on in the season. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this Miami backfield, honestly. It's like a 3-headed monster. Thank God they released Salvin Ahmed. Now, Brian Florio also in the chat. He needs a third wide receiver. Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Watson, or Ridley. This is PPR. I'm probably going to go Brian Thomas Jr. here. You know what? No, I take that back. I'm going Christian Watson. I'm not touching Calvin Ridley.
No, I was going to say it was between Thomas Jr. and Watson, but Ridley is not a guy that no.
I think I'm going to say Watson. He's got the touchdown upside that I don't know that Brian Thomas has. So, all right. And then we've got one more here. Jay is asking A-Chain, James Cook, Henry, Rashad White, pick 3 for this week, please. I'd say pick the one you want to leave out. I'm probably going to leave out A-Chain.
Me too. Out of those options. Yep. I think that's,
It's a confusing running back room. I don't know what to do.
I don't know. And because you always try to hit on the right guy, right? You're hoping, right? You hit the right guy and then you don't. And then you're like,
well, what if most weeks hitting the right guy is just starting Raheem Mostert, though?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I think the narrative now is right. He's too old. I've been sucked into that whole narrative of what's going on with Mostert. I've been sucked into it for the last, 3 years? I traded him away or whatever. At least
I finally, about halfway through last season, I was finally done with it. It's like, look, this guy clearly age doesn't matter. He's like a Frank Gore type guy.
Yeah, it's okay. That's why I like him so much. Those older
running backs. Yeah, a little bit more productive at points than Gore has been. Now let's get to some tight ends. My favorite position. I think it's because it's such a pain, but who knows? We're going to start with back-to-back players, same team. First of all, Juwan Johnson of the New Orleans Saints against Carolina in New Orleans. Are you starting Juwan Johnson this week?
No, I'm not starting him this week. I don't see it happen. I don't see, especially in week 1, I don't see it clicking. Yeah.
There'll be points later in the season. I think he's going to get more involved. It's just not week 1.
Not this one.
But what about Taysom Hill? Now officially a tight end.
I know. And that's awesome. Yeah, there's just I don't think I can. There's too many options. Even if you're in, I just think I'd find somebody else to start this week. Maybe keep him. If you have to, I say go ahead, and just because he's shown in the past that he can give you those games. But I would be very hesitant to do it unless that was my last option.
I'm gonna flex him. I don't. Something says fullback.
Yes,
like fullback that gets Peyton Hillis.
Peyton Hillis. Okay. Yes, Taysom Hill and Peyton Hillis. All right.
Taysom Hill, Peyton Hillis. Greg Dulcich again at Seattle. Not a lot to be excited about.
Nope, not excited about it. No, not excited about it. Not excited about the offense. Not excited about the tight end. No.
I'm going to flex him this week. And I'm going to probably pay for it, but yeah. I'm gonna do it. Okay. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Do it.
All right, last one. Zach Ertz of the Washington Commanders at Tampa Bay this weekend. The old man and near the sea. Are you gonna start him?
I think I might flex him this week just because I want to get something out, at least get some use out of him before he ultimately isn't available for you to use anymore. So
exactly. Yep. No, I'm starting him. I don't see any reason not to. I think you're going to get tight end 1 weeks out of him for the first 4, 5, 6 weeks, which that's not a high bar.
It's
right.
It's not.
It's a pretty low bar to clear.
Flexing tight ends, I'm not really a fan of in general, but like if it's an option, I'm going to do it. If it's like Zach Ertz or some other guy that doesn't have the track record that he has.
Dude, in pros with Joe's, because it's all flex, I'm going to be starting 3 tight ends almost every week. So I got McBride, Andrews, and Laporta. So
nice. We got 3 tight ends too, but I don't even remember who 2 of them. 3 of I don't remember who they are. I don't know why we ended up with 3 tight ends. I did do most of the show.
My Joe was at a doctor's appointment for the entirety of the draft, so I did the whole draft by myself. Yeah.
Oh, sorry to your.
Yeah, no, it was good. They're all good. Yes,
okay.
my Joe is awesome. It's I don't know if you're familiar with Justin from he's a baseball guy.
Oh yeah, Justin Mason.
Justin Mason.
Okay.
Yeah, Justin Mason and his wife.
Yeah.
Dee. They're my Joes.
Okay, so, that's dope. I love them.
Yeah.
Right, good job.
Yeah. Okay, we've got one more question in the chat here. Charlie S., thank you, sir, for tuning in, or ma'am. Edwards or McConkey, Moss or Mostert, Murray or Goff. I'll start. I'll do the first one here. Edwards or McConkey. I'm going to go McConkey.
I think I'm seconding that McConkey pick.
Okay. Moss or Mostert? I'm going Mostert.
I'm going Mostert. Moss I'm kind of off on a little bit right now. So
I like his value in drafts, but I just, everybody's freaking, Chase Brown's returning kicks.
Brown.
But, I just don't know how much they're realistically going to run the ball.
Yeah, at least with Mostert.
Yeah, well, in theory. Murray or Goff?
Murray.
It's close for me though.
It is. I love Jared Goff.
I don't think they're going to be too far off.
I don't think they're going to be too far off. And I know some people are like Murray, he's healthy though, guys. So let's
see. That's the thing. And a new Call of Duty hasn't come out in forever, so he's actually been focused. Did you ever really put much stock in that though? Like honestly, did you think he was really slacking off for Call of Duty, or was it more of a?
I mean, maybe. Because I remember, even now at 40, I slack off when I'm supposed to be doing stuff with things that I'm really, really, really about. Like, I'm sorry, that can wait. No, it can't. You really do need to go get your oil changed. No,
right? No, but I only have one more episode of The Bear left.
Right.
Right now in my week 1 rankings, I have got Kyler Murray at QB7 and Jared Goff at QB10.
There you go.
I mean, realistically, what's the point difference between 7 and 10? You're looking at maybe 5 points.
Yeah, they're going to be.
Close. So, yeah, I'm with you. Kyler Murray, Jared Goff would be fine, too. And then Jeff Rogers has got one more question for us here. Michael Pittman Jr. or Khalil Shakir? He does have Josh Allen at quarterback. I'm going to say Khalil Shakir.
I was going to say Pittman Jr.
Ooh.
So,
I like Shakir this week because I like the stack option, and I need to see where Pittman fits into this offense with Anthony Richardson behind center.
All right. I get that. I like the talent there with Pittman, and I feel like he's been solid last season, like sneakily for me. Like, I feel like he's one of those guys that wasn't on my radar a whole lot because I'm an idiot. So, yeah, I don't know. Khalil Shakir, don't get me wrong. Like, I think they're both pretty decent options this week. So I wouldn't hesitate starting either of those guys. If you have to choose one or the other, even flipping a coin, I don't think is the worst thing in the world.
All right. Now we've got one more question here in the chat. Robert Mitchell asking, how would you approach a 2 QB league when you have 2 good running backs and a good tight end? Would you actually stick that QB in? I'm assuming he's asking the QB for that team. Good example here would be like, let's say that Miami had a good tight end. Would you start Tua? Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? You might as well maximize getting those players in. As long as the offense, there's enough volume to go around for those players, start them all and start that quarterback.
I like it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the approach. There you go.
Oh, boy, they keep coming, Casey. People like our advice here. Would you start Christian Kirk or Terry McLaurin in a flex? He's got DK and Rashee Rice at wide receiver. I'm going to go Terry McLaurin here over Christian Kirk. I don't know that Christian Kirk is anything more than a wide receiver. Well, he's probably the wide receiver 2 in that offense behind Brian Thomas, probably. But still, I would rather have McLaurin.
I'd go McLaurin as well. I'm not sure you're going to get as many points from McLaurin as you think, but I don't temper your expectations a little bit. But I think that McLaurin's the pick over Kirk.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm doing McLaurin over Kirk. And, dude, to be able to start DK Metcalf and Rashee Rice week 1. Son, you drafted well. Good job.
Yeah, right.
Big Rice ball. Now, Mako J37, thank you for tuning in. Wants to know, who do I start at my wide receiver? Am I good at flex? But I have Chase, Olave, Dell, and Jaden Reed. Who do I start for both my wide receivers? I am all the way off Chris Olave this week. And I'm worried about, Jamar Chase hasn't practiced. He's an elite receiver, so I'm not that worried about it. I just wonder if Zach Taylor is going to hold him back a little bit this week just because he hasn't been at practice, hasn't been at camp. So I'm going to say Dell and Jaden Reed here.
Dell and Reed. Okay. I would go Chase and Reed, and I know the reasoning behind the Chase, but I'm going to YOLO it and be like, it's still Chase. So
he's probably like the overall wide receiver 1 this week. It's probably the way it's going to work. Yes, we've got Herb saying the Optimus chat is going off. It's true. This has been great, guys. We love the questions. We've got Brad from Down Under saying, hey, Nate and Casey.
Hello.
What is up, Brad? And then we've got Benny G in the chat asking if you had a choice, Kupp and Henry or JT and Garrett Wilson over the season. Ooh. I'd rather have Henry, but then I'd rather have Wilson over Kupp.
Yeah. So now you have to just determine. That's exactly how I feel. So now you have to determine between.
I think for me, it comes down to, is Wilson's upside enough over Kupp to justify taking JT over Henry?
See, this is one of those that I'd be thinking about for like 3 hours until I could actually like figure out. I think I would go.
I'm going to go Kupp Henry.
I was about to Kupp and Henry, I think.
I just worry about Jonathan Taylor in an offense with a mobile quarterback. So where he was getting drafted, though, you almost have to start him this week and every week. Yeah, I don't know. All right, well, let's get to these bold predictions now that the chat has calmed down a little bit. Let's get that comment out of there. Bold predictions for week 1. Casey, what is your bold prediction for week 1?
I put Diami Brown, but I don't know. Let's go. I didn't want to say Noah Brown, so we'll go with Diami Brown. But I'm going to say he scores a touchdown and has like one of those spike weeks, just the first week of the season, and one of those boom games, and everybody freaks out and goes and picks him up off the waiver wire, and then he doesn't do anything for the rest of the season, and everybody goes wah wah like we did back when Kevin Ogletree did it in 2012 for the Dallas Cowboys. Last night I'm sitting there for like 3 hours wanting to write something about that, so I thought I'd just sit here and talk about it right now because it still hurts. Anyway, that's what I think is going to happen.
All right.
Big bold.
My bold prediction is that I think that Sam Darnold finishes as a top 12 quarterback in week 1.
Hey, that's bold.
And I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I have him in my week 1 rankings as QB8.
Okay, so he is definitely he goes with his own advice, guys. He's sitting here and proving it to you. So
yeah, no, I'm rolling with it, man.
He's gonna roll with it.
If I tell you I'm doing it, I probably did it myself. That's right. Practice what you preach. We've got one more question from Jeff Rogers here. Would you drop Spears or Chase Brown to stash Jordan Mason? I would not drop Tyjae Spears for Jordan Mason. I would consider dropping Chase Brown, but I think Tyjae Spears, after a few weeks of Tony Pollard being wildly ineffective and inefficient, Tyjae Spears is going to be the de facto RB1 in that offense.
Yeah. I'm not sure I could drop maybe Chase Brown, but I really don't know. Like Jordan Mason, the only places I got him were places I could drop really crappy players. So, and when I say really crappy, I mean really crappy, not Spears or Chase Brown. So
yeah, and I would also say, Jeff, if Jordan Mason is still floating around in your league, that is actually fairly surprising. I thought he probably would have been snapped up on waivers. We've got Brad in the chat saying, my bold prediction is Optimus Fantasy and Optimus NFL Show are the best shows going around. Brad, thank you, buddy. Brad is the host of our Optimus NFL Show, so you guys make sure as those episodes are coming out, check them out. Brad and Daniel are awesome. I love that we have some Aussies, some real, true, nice, genuinely great Aussies who are running an NFL show for us, man. We got Hassan Terrell in the chat saying, hi there, guys. Hello, Hassan. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, guys, I think that is about going to wrap it up for us here on September the 5th of 2024. Thursday Night Football is just about 2 hours away. I have to go pick up the kid and make burgers, get in front of the TV in time for the game. I've also got about 20-something lineups to set, which is crap.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, my gosh. I'm about to cry. I need to go set so many lineups.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, we'll get through this because you guys, we all have lineups to set. I bet you a lot of people are in the same boat. So let's get everyone out of here. I want to run through what we've got going on the rest of the week. Tomorrow, tune in live. We're going to be live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself and Mike Reedy. We are going to have all the deets for the DFS main slate. We understand most of you guys aren't the sharks out there. We just want to help you win a little bit of money and have fun with it, right? Then later on in the evening at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be back here with the Optimus Mailbag Show. Get those questions in, guys. Drop them. team@optimusfantasy.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Send us a DM. We would love to get those questions. And again, we'll answer them live on air tomorrow. This one's fun. We are the exclusive hosts of the Start Sit Ask Me Anything on Reddit. 2.8 million users strong. Come to us at 11 a.m. Eastern every single Sunday. We will have that AMA thread up. Throw in your start sit questions. Our team will do our best to answer those for you and get you on your way to winning. And finally, guys, thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. We have a ton of stuff going on all week, every week in season. You guys are going to get so sick of seeing my face. Like I am going to be on here 5 to somebody earlier today asked me, well, how many podcasts are you doing this year? And I kind of started like counting it off in my head. It's like, ooh, I'm going to be somewhere in the 6 to 7 range pretty much every week.
All right. Hustle, baby, hustle.
So I finally put up my shelves and stuff. I'm like, this is nice. It's got to feel like home to me. And they won't stop asking here. One more question. Robert Mitchell wants to know, would you drop Ramondre Stevenson to stash Rashid Shaheed? He has Olave. I would not, Robert.
I wouldn't.
Ramondre Stevenson has RB1 potential this season. You do not want to give that up for
a guy that hits and misses.
Look, I know, right? I know one person who would make this move. It is the one and only Cooter Doodle, because she has 30 Rashid Shaheed jerseys. So that would be completely on
get in a
brand.
league with her and figure out what
right.
you're doing there.
Right. Casey, this has been a blast. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, we'll be back. Well, at least I will be back next week. That is going to be, I'm trying to do math in my head here. That will be September 12th. 2024 for week 2 of NFL action. Until then, guys, get out there, go win some contests, and have fun. That's what fantasy is all about.